Good morning, Wednesday morning, heading now to Tel Aviv after a long family trip. Was offline for a couple of days, now going to Google HQ in Tel Aviv. Talk about deepening my relationship with Google, let's just say. I work with them in many different capacities. Going to meet a friend of mine, Yael, who just joined Google. Let's talk about potential collaboration. That should be interesting. After that, meeting someone who is the CEO of one of Israel's largest malls. We connected on LinkedIn. He runs innovation for all the malls, so that should be very exciting. After that, going to meet the founders of TinyTap, a company I've spoken about recently on I-24 that just raised a nice round of financing from Aleph. And after that, going to I-24. So back-to-back meetings, very exciting day. Here we go. To Tel Aviv bright and early for my meeting at Google. Beautiful, beautiful morning here in Tel Aviv. I'm sitting here in Fashion Tel Aviv. That's what it's called, right?
Tel Aviv Fashion.
Tel Aviv Fashion, right. And then it's also called Gindi. What's that about? What's two different names?
Gindi is the company that owns the Tel Aviv.
Got it. Okay, so
now,
before we talk about you and who you are, because it's very interesting, I just want to point out something that I find fascinating. We are sitting here right now, literally this meeting right now has happened because of my philosophy in business. And let me explain. A couple of weeks ago, a journalist reached out to me and said to me, who are some interesting companies, enterprise, tech, whatever? So I introduced her to Site AI. I shouldn't say I didn't introduce her. I told her about Site AI. She then wrote the article, including Site AI. I sent it to Lihi, my friend, the CMO of Site AI. I said, here, enjoy, you guys are covered. Of course, they don't pay me, I don't work with them, I just love the company, I love Lee, so I offered to help. Of course, Lee then shared that article on LinkedIn, thanking me for getting them press, for getting them coverage. This guy saw that post of Lee, reached out to me, we connected on LinkedIn, and now I had the chance to sit with somebody who is doing one of the most fascinating things I've heard in a very, very long time. Let's back up. What's your name?
my name is Oren Paran.
Oren, by the way, do you have relatives in Beit Shemesh? One of my neighbors, same last name. Okay. So you lead, what's your official title?
I'm head of technology and innovation at Big Shopping Centers Group.
Okay, so you guys have seen me many, many times meet in the mall in Beit Shemesh. The name of that mall is Big Center. Big Fashion, there's two different Bigs. There's the old Big, there's the new Big. Not gonna get into complicated details, but the name of the entire center is Big. And Big has centers across Israel.
All over Israel.
How many?
We have also about 20 shopping centers around
20
Israel,
shopping centers.
and about 30 across the USA.
Okay, now, if you think about retail in general, right? You think of malls, we think of shopping centers. I'm not gonna say they're in trouble, but they're in trouble. Why are they in trouble? Because Amazon. Why would I go to the mall to buy at a full price if I could order on Amazon? The way these centers and the way these shopping centers and real physical retail is going to survive is only one word, innovation.
Absolutely.
It's the future. Without collaborating with startups and adopting innovation, the old school retail players are in trouble. And by the way, even the biggest names out there recognize this. Walmart with buying different, everyone understands this.
Absolutely.
So I said to you before, half jokingly, but I kind of mean it. Your role in the organization called Big is, I said before, more important than the CEO. I don't want to insult the CEO, but it is extremely important for the future of the company. What do you do as head of innovation and technology in Big? What does that mean?
Right. What we're really trying to do is to find the next generation of retail and commercial centers. We're really trying to adapt our shopping centers to the customer. We're looking to find, three elements today, which is data, speed, customer experience. which I think are the most important.
Agreed.
And if we will be able to really adapt and change the way the retail is working in front of the expectations of our visitors, our consumers, then we will be able to survive and to really
flourish
and to fulfill the expectations of our customers.
Okay, so let me just say one thing. Do you know a company called Sunday Sky? Okay. Israeli company, very successful, very, very successful. Many years ago, I think probably close to a decade ago, or close, I don't know exactly how long ago, they launched, I remember the conference they launched at. They launched at a conference called, if I'm not mistaken, Techonomy. It was Orly Akuel's conference, and I was sitting in the audience, and I was watching this pitch, and I believe I'm the first blogger on the internet to write about them. Why am I telling you this? Because what was their pitch? Here's their pitch. They said like this: why do you go, when you walk into Ace, or to Home Depot, or whatever, any retail store, why do they have salesmen on the floor? Why don't they just put a piece of paper on the washing machine that they're selling and say, here are the specs, buy it? Why do they have people walking around? Because people like to interact with other people. People like the real life experience of coming into a store and interacting, okay? What they do is a topic for another time, but at the end of the day, one cannot compare clicking buy on Amazon to getting the experience of real retail. Now, the big question is, that's great. On the other hand though, am I willing to pay more? Am I willing to, give up on other things and compromise on other things that are important? And am I willing to actually, it's very kind of old school, the whole retail thing. But if you can bring cool startups, cool innovation to the shopping experience, to the real life retail, that's a huge win. And that's your role.
Absolutely, yeah, this is part of our role because we're dealing, with the back end and with the front end. And on the front end, you have the experience of the customers, which is changing on an ongoing basis. You have to follow the trends all the time and to see what our customers are looking for.
Okay.
And in a way, this is the innovation we're looking for, but it's not kind of a point where you get to and that's it. It's kind of a journey.
Ongoing, right.
Ongoing journey.
Okay, so that's one hat that you wear.
Yeah.
One hat is your head of innovation and technology at the big center. But then, after working with all the biggest names in Israel, you name it, all the biggest retailers, you realized there's a better way, or there's an additional way. And you said, wait a second, these retailers want to work with startups. Startups want to work with retailers. Let's build a club, let's call it a club, where you have retailers and startups can join this club and collaborate with retailers. And so you have this thing called the Retail Innovation Club? Yes, got that right. The Retail Innovation Club. So it's, what's the website again?
www.retailinnovation.club.
Retailinnovation.club. Tell me about that, and what's your role there?
So I'm the managing director of the Retail Innovation Club, and the club is actually a platform that we have established together with Israel major retail and commercial real estate groups. And platform is actually a tool that helps us to match solutions to needs. And what we actually do is that we scout the market for retail tech startups on an ongoing basis. We're trying to evaluate the solutions to see what scale are they, which kind of solutions fits to what retailer, and we're doing the match between the retail and the startups, and we just let them go.
So two things to say. Number one, this is a serious thing in that the retailers pay to be part of this club. So no one's clowning around. They're actually looking for these solutions. That's number one. You also said something very interesting to me before, and I'm not sure if you even realized how interesting it was. You said like this: if I'm a big retailer in a mall, I don't care how much money your startup raised. I don't care who your investors are. All I care is one thing: does it work? If it works, let me use it. Let me put it in my stores. And so for a startup that has a technology that works, to get access to these massive retailers is a huge win. And for the retailer to get access to these startups is also a huge win. So it's kind of a win-win. And that's what you're doing. You're facilitating that connection through the Retail Innovation Club. Super duper awesome. All right, listen, here's the bottom line. Anything I can do to help you in any capacity, you're gonna let me know. This was an amazing kickoff meeting as far as I'm concerned. And I love the fact that we met because I helped Lihi and Site AI. That's the coolest story ever.
Thanks to Lihi.
Really cool to have gotten to meet you. And listen, like I said, we'll figure out how we can help, how we can work together. I think there's a lot of synergy because we both have the same goal here, which is helping startups scale and bring their technology to market. So we're gonna continue this conversation, and yeah, man, good luck with everything. Thanks for your time, man.
Take care, Hillel.
Okay, that was an amazing meeting, and I love stories like that. And now, heading to Tiny Tap, a company I've been in touch with for many years, just raised a nice round. But before that, I have to do my regular, where the heck did I park? Because the guys who built this parking lot were smoking crack. So, Operation Look for My Car begins now. And I'm like 600 numbers away from where I parked. I'm at 1187, I parked at 1711. Shoot me now. You can't find parking in Tel Aviv, you park like this. Don't worry, it's a parking lot. I left in my key, but they're like, yeah, just park here. I'm like, I'm blocking 18 cars. They're like, just park. It is very hot. Heading to Tiny Tap now, to their new office, their new investors, Aleph. Really cool company in the education space. I would imagine I'll get them on camera. I hope. Definitely a company worth checking out. In other news, someone's having a bad day. Amir Pinchas, previously at Microsoft. You've met him before. He didn't behave this way at Microsoft. I can promise you that. So I love Cinderella stories. Everyone loves Cinderella, right? So like, how many years ago?
5 years ago.
5 years ago, Orly Yakuel. By the way, Orly Yakuel, if you're watching, you better be watching. If you don't watch my vlog, you're in big trouble.
Watch it, yeah.
She has made some killer intros for me over the years. Betty Shaviv is one of them. This guy is another one. We met 5 years ago. He actually came to Beit Shemesh, which, if you're not familiar, you need like a passport to come to Beit Shemesh. But he came to Beit Shemesh, seriously, and showed me this platform they were working on at the time. It was really early, right?
Yeah, very basic.
Called Tiny Tap at the time, and it was basically back then, I don't know, I guess it was a platform for teachers to play. What was it back then? Let's not talk about what it is now, but what was it back then when we...
Perfect, yeah, that's the best way to start. So back then, it was a platform that was all about teachers, about empowering teachers to create their own interactive lessons and activities for kids in the classroom. It can be content about Israel, about the US, in their own languages, and about niche topics.
Okay, so we met back then in Beit Shemesh in a coffee shop. I remember back then, I do remember back then, and I brought the kids to try it. They were playing around with it. I remember thinking, this is a very, I want to think of the word. It's, yeah, it was an interesting company. You guys were interested, but I found it to be very, it was unique because it wasn't something that I had heard from any other startup. Usually when I'm meeting with startups, we're doing a social media thing, we're doing photo share, and everyone's doing a lot of the same stuff. No one that I had met back then was doing anything.
Focus on that, yeah.
Yeah, this was very, and long story short, 5 years later, you guys last week announced...
We've raised $5 million from Aleph.
Okay, so Aleph, for those that are not familiar, and I hope no one gets offended by this comparison, but I mean this in the nicest way possible. They're the Andreessen Horowitz of Israel. What do I mean by that? I mean that when Andreessen Horowitz writes a check, that's the beginning of the process. They then help the company grow. Eden from Aleph helps these guys like hands-on, real value, not like abstract, I'm going to make connections. No, these guys like hands-on. They wrote the check, and now it's the beginning of the process. And Aleph is widely regarded as the top investor in Israel in terms of value add, and I think it's pretty accurate. I know Michael. By the way, Michael knows SAR and Riverdale, and I know Michael and my whole life. I've done for a very long time. Aaron's awesome. An amazing fund. So they just invested in them $5 million, and I was sitting minding my own business, and I'm like, Tiny Tap raised from Aleph. I was like, yes. These guys, watching these guys grow.
Go one for the good
All
guys.
right, so let's, for the sake of the continuation of your day and for the ADD of the viewers, let's do this real quick. What is Tiny Tap today?
Okay, so 5 years later, Tiny Tap is a library of over 150,000 educational games from all over the world in 24 languages that you can play at your home. In your home.
Very good.
Yeah.
You've been practicing. That was solid. But here's the thing. Why is this so remarkable and so interesting? No one in their right mind can deny or can even debate the fact that today children are absolute zombies, right? Well, not only children, we all are, but we're all stuck to our screens, and it's a real problem. Now, there's two ways you can fix that problem. You can either say, all right, we're going to take the kid away from the screen and convince them to go play ball outside, which if you're very persuasive, you might have a little success for like an hour, then they'll come back to YouTube. Or you can say, all right, this is the behavior. Let's not change the behavior, but let's say you're sitting in front of your screen. Let's get that time to be valuable, educational, and important, and something that can actually make that kid's life better. Time. And that's what Tiny Tap does. We're not going to take the kids away from the screens. We're going to take their time in front of the screens, and we're going to give them actual educational tools. So how does it work?
So a teacher creates something for her classroom, whatever they're missing. They do it for free. By the way, Tiny Tap is completely free for teachers. After she made something for the classroom, she can share it into a public library and decide if she wants to sell it or not. Okay. Some of the content is free, some of it costs money. Eventually, families all over the world can learn from that content. So we'd like to call it limitless learning or borderless learning, meaning that doesn't matter what your limitation is. If your parents have the right education that you need, or your school and education system has what you need, you can come to Tiny Tap and get it from teachers all over the world.
Is it fair to say you guys are building the app store for the education world?
It is a good description of it. In fact, we actually have a process of reviewing content that is uploaded, deciding which to feature, which to not, which to remove from the app store. So it's
pretty amazing.
It's a micro ecosystem.
It's an iPhone app.
It's an iPhone app, iPad app, Android, and the web. One disclaimer, creation happens on the iPad, and you can play it on any device.
So the teacher then uses an iPad to create the content, create the game, create the educational whatever piece, let's call it, and then you can play that game or you consume that content on any platform.
Yeah, furthermore, it's not just a game. So I think the criticism that we're getting about educational apps all the time, that it's kind of a one-time effect. Okay, you play a numbers game or an ABC games, but it doesn't lead you anywhere. So in TinyTip, you can play individual activities. You can play a course, which is a structured learning path, or you can play a full learning plan throughout the year. So all you have to do is open TinyTip twice a day, play 2-3 games with your kid, and you can go and watch YouTube as long as you want.
I can't help. I'm a marketing guy, so I like to get excited. So pardon me for getting excited, but you guys are really like the future of education.
We hope so, yeah. We're not. We're just helping the future of education get into tablets.
I love it. All right, so how many people work in the company today around?
So let's start with how many people we were 3 months ago.
Let's start with what's your name, actually? That's more
hi.
important.
Nice to meet you. I'm Yogev Shelley. I'm the CEO and co-founder of TinyTip. I started TinyTip with Oren Elbaz and Uri Lazar back in 2012.
2012.
Yeah,
okay.
and since from 3 people, we went to 15 people in the beginning of the year and 30 people right now. So
30 people.
Yeah.
Super cool. You moved into a new office, you raised a new round of financing, and now you're scaling.
Yeah.
Scaling the team, scaling the technology. I love it. Listen, I don't need to tell you I'm a huge fan. Been a fan before it was cool to be a fan. I was a fan before Olive, so there, Michael. But listen, bottom line is, like I said to you, anything I can do to help you guys in any capacity, I love it. I think, I like I said to you before, I grew up in a home of educators. Both my dad and my mom are educators. So I mean, for me, I would absolutely love to help. And listen, you have homework. You got to figure out how I can help you guys. That's it.
We'll do that.
We were talking to Naomi. I said to her, the marketing. We worked together back in the day. Also, she runs marketing here. And I said to Naomi, we just have to figure out how I can help. But I'd love to help in any capacity. And yeah, man, just keep rocking. I'm really. I was super happy to hear the news. And you're just gonna let me know how I can help, right?
Perfect.
Fantastic.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks for your time. I'm very excited about the future of TinyTip. It's by the way, last thing, what's your website?
Yeah, well, it's.
I have to tell you everything. Help me help you, man. What's your website?
Actually, websites are overrated nowadays. Just go to the App Store and search for TinyTip.
I like it. It. What is your website?
TinyTip.it.
If somebody wants to learn more about the company,
if anyone has the .com domain, I'd love to talk to him.
Okay, and interesting. It's interesting. I like that. But also one last thing: if there's a teacher out there that wants to be in touch with you guys directly, or I don't know, a teacher, an educator, or student, or parent, somebody wants to have a contact with the company, who's the best person for them to contact, and how do they contact them?
Well, definitely Naomi. And what we can do together is we can do personal development, webinars. It's completely free for teachers, and creation is completely free. There's only a subscription if you want to access premium content created by teachers, which later you should be happy about the fact that your money will be split between the company and the teachers who created the content you played.
By the way, one more thing we didn't talk about, and this is extremely important to mention, is that not only are you doing good for the world and doing good for the future of kids, but you're actually helping teachers who oftentimes in some places don't make that much money. You have teachers that are making a lot of money from your platform. A lot.
And we'll be making much
incredible.
More.
And it's going to grow. All right, what's Naomi's email? You know Naomi's email by heart?
The internet is all about freeing people from the limitations of
well said.
So as a teacher, you can only work in your education system in your country. We're trying to free that and give you access to everywhere.
Love it. All right, Naomi's email. Do you know it by heart?
Yeah, Naomi at tinytip.it.
Okay, Naomi at tinytip.it.
Yeah, and basically, if you go to the blog and look at the team page, you'll see all the emails and all the contact.
And follow them, Facebook, Twitter. You guys are everywhere.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, everything. Love it. Well, thank you for your time.
Not Snapchat lately.
Don't get me started on Snapchat. All right. Anyway, no, but actually, I don't know, with the kids, that's where they're hanging out. But anyway, it's a topic for another time. We'll do a follow-up meeting. Thank you guys for having me. This is a super cool office. Congrats on the raise. Congrats on the new office. Congrats on the amazing team. Also, we didn't mention one last thing, most important thing of the whole thing. Freaking Amir Pinchas works here.
Amir Pinchas works here.
You guys remember Amir Pinchas? He was at Microsoft a couple of months ago. Big hotshot, started like the Microsoft Accelerator, like Microsoft Ventures. Big deal. And he left Microsoft and he joined TinyTip. He's on his way. I've heard through the grapevine that Amir's on his way. Let's turn the camera. It's that good-looking guy. What's up? Can we make some goofy faces? No, I'm just kidding. So why? So
you
why
want to jump on him?
No. Well, I don't know. I mean, we're good thumbnail for YouTube. But real quick, Microsoft to TinyTip. Why?
Yeah. Why? To make an impact on kids, on education.
I love how you just said that like it's so obvious.
Yeah. Like, come on.
No, but I mean, listen, Amir, we go way back. Big fan of Amir. And like I said, there's amazing talent in this. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, there's amazing talent in this company. I think you guys are definitely definitely building something that is fascinating and is tremendous potential, because, if you look at all these big companies, they're all disrupting, I hate that word, but sorry, I have to use it, spaces that have been around forever, like transportation, like hospitality, like communication. What about education? It's time.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So how do you disrupt the education? The problem with that is people have been trying to disrupt it via the traditional ecosystem. So
Right.
going to schools, trying to sell a new technology, trying to change things, and you know what? It's not moving for years. Since the CD-ROM, since the multimedia on the web, it doesn't work. So what we're trying to do is go directly bottom up, go to teachers, give them a tool where they can empower them to bring their ideas into an interactive format, and then make that accessible to families at home.
All right, guys, thanks for having me. I'm running to my next meeting. This was awesome. Let's do another meeting soon, all right? Next time over steak or something, okay?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
That was an amazing meeting. Also, this is one of my favorite vehicles. I've talked about this before. I really like the way Volvo makes their new cars. Just made it to Jaffa, running to I-24, going live in 10 minutes to talk about a new WhatsApp feature, Audi and Huawei announcing an agreement, and Apple hinting or leaks coming out that the new iPhone will be in several colors. So, some pretty cool stories today, but I am very late. Going live in 2 minutes.
Where have you been? You're
Traveling the world. Never allowed to leave ever.
Ever. Get ready to drive your car through your cell phone and adding some color to the next incarnation of the iPhone. Hillel Fuld is back and badder than ever since he abandoned us for a few weeks. Hello.
Is that badder than ever or better than ever?
Bother than ever. Bother than ever.
Excellent.
All right, so much went on while you were away. It's hard to keep track, but of course stories happen that are your faves this week. So let's get to WhatsApp first.
Okay, so WhatsApp announced a new feature, not globally available yet, but in India, that will indicate when a message has been forwarded. So I don't know about you, but I get a ton of spam and fake news on WhatsApp. And so because of the popularity of the platform, people are using it to distribute fake news and problematic messages, whether it's bullying, whether it's other things. This is one problem that they're addressing right now by every time I get a message that's been forwarded, it will indicate this is a forwarded message. And I know that in my family group, often my nieces and nephews will just forward a message assuming it's true. And when I know it's coming from another source, it will maybe give me more of an inclination as to whether or not this is accurate, or at least it will incentivize me to go check if it's accurate. Huawei. Can you say it? No, just say Huawei. Say Huawei.
I just like to say Huawei.
Say Huawei.
Huawei.
Okay, there you go. So they've been in the press, they've been in the news a lot, and there's American government saying they're spying. You know my thoughts on that. Audi and Huawei are joining forces to bring smart technology to the car via Audi. And again, more important than the actual, partnership or the details of the partnership, which aren't disclosed yet. We don't know money-wise or what exactly it will mean in terms of technology. To me, this is another indication, yet another one, that all this noise about Huawei and Chinese companies, spying, there's really no real proof or evidence to that effect. And if Audi is now willing to kind of partner with Huawei and say, we're bringing your technology into our cars, that's a good indication that maybe we should think twice about, throwing accusations all over the place that these companies are spying. iPhone, the rumors are, no, Apple doesn't confirm these things, but before every announcement from Apple, there are all kinds of rumors. The rumors now are that the next version of the iPhone is going to come in all different colors.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Welcome back.
Thanks. We done. How was it?
It was awesome. We missed you.
I feel like it was low energy today, man. What do you think?
No, not at all.
No?
It's in your head.
I haven't eaten, so that would explain
That's
it.
probably why, and it's really remarkably hot outside.
That's true, too. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
We still have to have coffee. I'm not forgetting.
I'm not either.
No hands. Got the water in one hand, camera in the other. Now out to the heat. It's 100 and whatever degrees outside right now. Kind of want to sleep here tonight. Don't want to leave. Alas, 4 other meetings. Back to Beit Shemesh. It is like an oven out here, almost at the car. God, it's so hot. Made it home. Was a pretty incredible day. Note to self, don't not eat until 6 p.m. My head is pounding. Going to eat dinner now, a couple of other meetings, and then tomorrow I'm doing something I rarely ever do, taking the day off to hang with an old friend, Donnie Haller, a physician who is here in Israel for his daughter's bat mitzvah. So we're hanging out in Jerusalem tomorrow. No vlog. Next week is going to be bonkers insane. Very excited about next week. See you then.
Forever.